At 69 years old, Maureen McCormick has finally decided to reveal a truth she has carried for more than half a century. A truth involving teen idol David Cassidy, whispered about for decades, speculated on endlessly, but never confirmed. For years, she allowed rumors to swirl, headlines to recycle the same old questions, and fans to wonder what really happened between America's sweetheart and the world's most adored heartthrob. But now, with the kind of clarity that only comes with age, survival, and hard-earned peace, she opens the door to a chapter she once guarded fiercely. And the real story is far more human, far more tender, and far more complicated than anyone imagined. To understand why this revelation matters, we have to go back, not just to the Brady Bunch era or the days when Cassidy's posters covered bedroom walls worldwide, but to the very beginning, long before fame, flashing cameras, and impossibly high expectations reshaped her life. Maureen Denise McCormick was born on August 5, 1956, in Woodland Hills, California. Growing up in a middle-class family, she was a cheerful, charismatic little girl with an effortless spark that hinted at a future much bigger than anyone around her could predict. She was bright, expressive, and deeply drawn to creativity, performing for relatives during gatherings and mimicking characters she saw on television. It didn't take long before the entertainment world began to notice. Commercials came first, then small TV roles, each one revealing a natural presence, warm, vibrant, and unmistakably genuine. But nothing could prepare her for what would come next. At the age of 12, Maureen was cast as Marcia Brady, the eldest daughter of the Brady family. No one, not the producers, not the cast, not Maureen herself, knew that this role would forever shape television history and her own identity. The Brady Bunch premiered in 1969, offering light-hearted, wholesome family stories during a period of profound cultural change in America. In the midst of national tension and generational divides, the show delivered laughter, optimism, and a sense of simple joy. And at its center was Maureen's Marcia, beautiful, popular, kind, and yet quietly vulnerable. Her famous line, "Marcia, Marcia, Marcia," became part of American pop culture mythology, instantly recognizable and quoted for generations. Viewers didn't just watch her, they adored her. The series became iconic, forever imprinting the Brady family into television history. Even decades later, Maureen's portrayal continues to resonate through reruns, streaming services, reunions, and a cascade of pop culture references. New generations still discover Marcia Brady as if the show had aired yesterday. But behind that perfect smile and the polished image of the all-American girl, Maureen was beginning to experience the pressures, expectations, and emotional complexities that often come with young stardom. As the Brady Bunch's popularity exploded, Maureen's character grew larger than the show itself. The public couldn't get enough of the Brady world, leading to spin-offs, specials, and reunions. In 1981, the Brady Brides debuted, following Marcia and Jan as newlyweds adjusting to adult life. That same year, The Brady Girls Get Married aired, further cementing the everlasting fascination with the Brady family dynamic. Fans didn't just want to watch, they wanted to grow up with the characters. They wanted to follow them into adulthood, into marriage, into real life. And in many ways, Maureen embodied that transition for millions. But life doesn't always match the scripts written for television. When the Bradys premiered in 1990, Maureen wasn't able to participate. She had just given birth to her daughter. For the first time, the girl America had watched grow up chose her private life over her professional one. That decision was deeply personal, marking both a moment of joy and the beginning of a quiet struggle behind the scenes. While the Brady Bunch defined her early career, Maureen didn't want to be trapped by a single role. She expanded into a wide range of television appearances: Donnie and Marie, Happy Days, Vega Dollar, Fantasy Island, The Love Boat, and Streets of San Francisco, each one allowing her to experiment and explore new sides of her talent. She moved into film as well. The Idolmaker, 1980, a drama rooted in the music industry. A Vacation in Hell, 1979, a suspense-driven TV movie. Skatown, USA, 1979, which captured the energy of the roller skating era. Return to Horror High, 1987, a comedic horror hybrid. These roles allowed her to break free of the Marcia Brady label, at least professionally. But emotionally, the public image was impossible to escape. She wasn't just Maureen. She was America's perfect big sister. And the pressure to maintain that perfection slowly began to take its toll. During her time on the Brady Bunch, Maureen developed a complicated romance with Barry Williams, who played Greg Brady. Their chemistry was undeniable both on set and off, but the relationship was intense, unpredictable, and made all the more confusing by the fact that the world saw them as siblings. This internal conflict, feeling something real while pretending to be family on screen, was hard enough, but it was only the beginning of Maureen's struggle with identity, expectation, and the blurry lines between performance and reality. By the time the series ended in 1974, Maureen was 18 years old, thrust suddenly from child superstardom into the chaotic world of adult fame. For the first time, she had to navigate Hollywood without the structure of a weekly series or the protective bubble of the Brady set. And that is when her life began to unravel. Hollywood in the 70s was a galaxy of bright lights, endless parties, and easy temptation. Like many young stars, Maureen found herself drawn into a dangerous lifestyle, cocaine, quaaludes, and a cycle of escapism that began slowly but soon consumed her life. She missed auditions. She showed up impaired. She sabotaged opportunities. She felt lost between who she was, who she used to be, and who the world expected her to remain. Alongside addiction, Maureen battled bulimia and depression, all while trying desperately to maintain a facade of composure and happiness. The pressures of fame, body image, and public scrutiny worked together like gears in a machine, grinding down her self-esteem. Fans saw Marcia Brady. Maureen saw someone drowning. On March 16, 1985, Maureen married actor Michael Cummings, a man who offered stability, compassion, and grounding at a time when her life felt dangerously unstable. Their relationship became a lifeline. Michael refused to enable her addictions and instead encouraged her to seek help, confront her pain, and rebuild her life one step at a time. In 1989, Maureen gave birth to their daughter, Natalie Michelle. Becoming a mother shifted something deep within her. She no longer wanted to escape her life, she wanted to reclaim it. With therapy, medication, rehabilitation programs, and the unwavering support of her Brady castmates, her second family, Maureen slowly rebuilt her confidence, her health, and her sense of purpose. Her 2008 memoir, Here's the Story, Surviving Marcia Brady and Finding My True Voice, revealed the full extent of her struggles and helped destigmatize addiction, bulimia, and mental illness for many readers. In the 2000s and beyond, Maureen rediscovered the joy of performing. She appeared on Dancing with the Stars, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and co-hosted Frozen in Time, a design-focused home renovation series. She evolved from a teen idol into a woman of strength, resilience, creativity, and humor. And she proved that survival is not just about overcoming hardship. It's about choosing again and again to reclaim one's voice and identity. For decades, one question lingered around Maureen McCormick's life, whispered by fans and journalists alike. What really happened between Maureen McCormick and David Cassidy? The two young stars first met in the early 1970s at publicity events, tapings, promotional gatherings, places where teen idols were swarmed by fans, expected to smile endlessly, and kept under constant watch by studio handlers. David Cassidy was the ultimate heartthrob. With the Partridge Family, he became an international sensation, posters on every wall, sold-out concerts, mobs of screaming teenagers wherever he went. Maureen was America's golden girl. They were young, they were beautiful, they were living inside a whirlwind of attention, pressure, and fantasy, and they understood each other in ways no one else could. In her late-life confession, Maureen finally admitted, "Yes, David and I had a connection. It wasn't long, but it was real in that moment. He made me laugh. He made me feel seen. And he was someone I could trust when the cameras weren't rolling. It wasn't a scandal. That IT wasn't a tabloid romance. That IT was two teenagers finding solace in one another amid pressures they weren't prepared for." Studios at the time managed their young stars with an iron grip. They cultivated an image of innocence, purity, and unattainability. Teen idols weren't allowed to have normal relationships because romance, especially between two fan favorites, risked breaking the fantasy that fueled their careers. As Maureen explained, back then, the studios wanted us to look squeaky clean. If it had come out that I was dating David, it would have caused chaos. She wasn't exaggerating. The entire teen idol industry revolved around the illusion of availability. A real relationship, especially one involving two icons, would have been considered a threat. So, they hid it. They buried their connection beneath layers of professionalism, publicity smiles, and unspoken understanding. As years passed, Maureen watched from afar as David Cassidy's life became increasingly difficult. His struggles with alcoholism, the pressures of early fame, financial troubles, and personal heartbreaks became tragically public. He died in 2017 at the age of 67, leaving behind a legacy both brilliant and bittersweet. With tears in her voice, Maureen said, "I wish I could have been there more for him. David had such a beautiful soul. Fame lifts you up so high, and then it can crush you. I knew that feeling because I went through it too." She saw in David a mirror of her own pain, the suffocating weight of expectation, the loneliness behind the spotlight, the ache to be understood rather than idolized. Her confession isn't about sensationalism, that it's about compassion, that it's about remembering him as a human being beyond the posters, the songs, and the screaming crowds. As she looks back now, Maureen speaks with a kind of peace, gratitude for survival, gratitude for clarity, gratitude for people who crossed her path in meaningful ways, even briefly. About Cassidy, she concludes, "David Cassidy was special to me, and that's something I'll cherish forever." No drama.no scandal, just truth. Two young stars, caught in a storm of fame they never fully understood, finding a moment of connection in a world that demanded perfection but rarely offered understanding. This is the chapter Maureen kept private for half a century. Now, finally, she shares it, not to sensationalize the past, but to honor it with honesty, dignity, and the wisdom of a woman who survived the long, winding road from child stardom to authentic selfhood. And in that truth, she gives fans not just a revelation, but a reminder that behind every icon is a deeply human story waiting to be told.